And today we have a story about trust. So, Simi, we are going to make up this lady's name.
Yeah.
Because, what is it? Like, there's like those old radio shows where it's like the scenarios have been changed and the names of the people have been changed for to protect their own identity. And that's what we're doing here. So, but we're going to call
confidentiality, buyer brokerage agreements, you know?
Oh, you went like legit legal there. I was trying to have fun. So, we're going to call her Kate. Kate is a single mom.
Yes.
Kate is works on her own, and in Simi's words, she's a GSD kind of person, gonna get done.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And she makes things happen in her world. And why don't you kind of give us an intro of how you met Kate?
Yeah.
And what happened? And we'll kind of go from there.
Totally. So Kate, as Jared said, is a GSD type of person. I think he just made that up, but it works. So yeah, she's a go-getter. She always has been. When I first met her, it was actually at an open house. So a super simple and easy way to meet a realtor.
Yeah.
So I met her at this open house that I was hosting, and she, right off the bat, was a little bit she had a wall up, let's say. She had her
hesitant.
Yeah. And let's just say she came in, she brought both of her kids, both like aged under 5.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And she shows up on a Sunday and she's just like getting things done, checking off tasks. So she's at this open house. She's not very excited or in the best spirits. She it seems like she's there just to, check another thing off her box, get something done. So I'm trying to disarm her, but at the same time, I can kind of tell she just wants to be left alone. Yep. And I respect that. So I'm like,
totally.
Hey, Kate, do you mind signing in? Just, typical open house procedure. She was happy to do it. So I follow her around the open house after, a few minutes, just
kind of like a stalker.
No, she doesn't like that. Jared.
Okay. Right. Story about trust.
Yeah, story about trust. Yeah. So after she'd been there for a few minutes, I kind of, I followed up just to see if she needed anything, very common practices. At the end, it turns out the house wasn't the one for her, which is okay. That happens. So I was like, hey, I have a lot of other options. Let me send you some other content if you have some time. But before I kind of jumped to that, I actually did something really unique, which I don't think many people do. I asked her for her permission. I was like, Kate, would you mind if I followed up with you later on in the week to potentially send you some other content? And she looked at me, and it's funny because not a lot of people have looked at me like that. And she was just like, wow, no one's ever asked me for my permission before. And I was like, well, here I am.
Here I am. There's the quote box that you can put on your Instagram. Here I am. So let's talk about this. I mean, open houses. Yes, I mean, open houses have changed
100%
because of COVID, and there are still some rules and stuff around them. So, but with open houses, that can be kind of a intimidating place for a potential client to walk into. So, someone who's just looking in a community, walking around, driving around, hops into something, and it's so often, if I was the consumer, I would walk in and just basically be like, nope, I got an agent. No, I'm good. Yeah. Just to keep people away.
Definitely.
So why do you think that question, asking her permission, was so valuable for her? And why did you ask it?
Because I think in our society, it's something people don't do. Nobody really asks anybody for permission. People just do it, She was giving me her information because she was in the open house. So she probably just assumed I'm going to bombard her after this and start emailing her and texting her until she responds to me. But my approach, I feel, is just really different. I don't really want to annoy anybody, and that's just not going to create a good working relationship. So I had a feeling that she had obviously maybe been burned in the past by other agents. Just by the way she was talking to me, it seemed like she had just categorized us all as the same.
Right.
So right off the bat, I was like, I want to be different. And she's a boss. Like, she is a boss. Boss lady, okay?
Boss lady.
And I was like, let me keep her in this leadership position that she's used to being in. Yeah. So again, I was like, would you mind if I followed up with you? And again, just simply asking her for her permission. And that was the beginning of our working relationship.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And so I think after you've gotten to know her through that process, I mean, you kind of found out some things that she really had experiences in the past of, right? So before we jump into that, I want to ask you guys questions. So if you have a question or a comment, what are some experiences you've had going into open houses? What are some stories you've had going into open houses? What are those interactions like? What are your feelings, or what are you going to do when you go into these open houses? It's just kind of a curious question. Put them in the comments here. Would be interested to hear some of your feedback on that if you are watching and you're a consumer. And if you're an agent in Calgary, would love to hear some of your thoughts too around open houses, how you engage with people. What are your, I don't want to use the word procedures, but what do you typically do to help people versus sell them? And I think that's the biggest difference that we always talk about is how do we help people? We're not here just to sell people. So let's go back. So you found out some of her interactions with other agents in the past, other experiences. What was that like for her?
So this obviously was not her first time buying a home. She's bought many homes in the past. Her mom has also bought many homes in the past. So she's done this a few times now. And every time she said she had a terrible experience. She always found that she was the one finding information and then taking it back to her agent, where she felt like it wasn't really that partnership that she was looking for from a realtor. So she always felt like she could just do it herself. Because she's like, I feel like nobody's going to work as hard as I do, and I'm going to end up finding the information out before they do.
Which can be true.
It can be true. It can be true.
And I think some of the things that you were saying too, but when we were chatting before this was the fact that you were full-time. You were available when she needed it because she had a crazy schedule. I mean, you said 2 kids under 5.
2 kids under 5, works from home. So her hours were very specific. Like I needed to meet either before or after daycare, before or after she started. And for me, like I am full-time, so I can do the 9 a.m. I can do the 7 p.m. It doesn't really matter.
Totally. And I think the thing that we're always looking at for our brokerage anyways and our team is we always want the client to be the hero. And through this process, whether you knew it or you didn't know it, you became the guide. You became the person that came beside her and said, hey, let's walk together, and showed her a way to do it, right?
Exactly.
And so I think that's fantastic. So what was the outcome? Like what happened by you going through this process with her? What did you achieve? What did you feel? And what did she achieve?
So it was really interesting for me to get to work with somebody so just, she knows what she wants. So not those people can be kind of difficult to work with for certain people, but I really liked the challenge because I learned how I can adapt to certain situations when people are challenging me as well. But also I learned how to be authentic and just bring her what she needs. You know what I mean? So just also to be a friend. And in the end, I guess this was a while ago now, but over the course of 12 months, she bought 2 homes from me.
Wow.
Yeah, so she bought 2 investment properties after me.
Not for one for each of her kids.
Not for actually, that's kind of her plan. That's actually one of her plans.
That's a good plan.
I know, but so yeah, she still reaches out to me till this day. I keep in touch with her more so as a friend. Because I don't for me, it's not really about the transaction. It's about actually maintaining that working relationship because you add me to your network, I add you to my network to see how I can help you out as well in the future, right? So I have a great working relationship with her still, and I think if I didn't provide the service that I did provide to her, she probably just would have found the next person very easily.
Well, and I think you're also in an environment that allows you to do that because we had a client who was one of our past agents. His name is James. He was here a couple years ago and he moved overseas. And one of his past clients, excuse me, actually reached out through Facebook Messenger to our page and said, hey, I'm really needing something. Can you guys still help me? Not buying or selling, but the fact that we're in an environment where it's like, I want to build my deck bigger. Can someone help me find somebody? And I think that's been really neat to have here, but it also is neat to see that you're doing it individually too. Because that's what we believe. And so 100%. It's fantastic to see that. So, well, thank you, Simi.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you for coming on to, maybe this is going to turn into a weekly client story.
Potentially. I do have a lot of stories.
You do.
I'll tell a story if you tell a story.
I don't know. I got many. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much for watching and enjoying this story of trust today. If you have any questions, comments, anything about the market, anything to do with open houses, anything at all, just reach out. You know where to reach us. You can DM us, direct message us, put comments on this video. Lots of ways to do that. So we hope you have a fantastic Monday and a great rest of your week.
Bye.
See you guys.